a rock star is now chasing UFOs, still a rock star. How did you get involved? How did you get to know about this organization and how it got started?
I was on a news assignment out in the hinterlands of Nevada and got a phone call from this guy named Tom DeLonge. And I'd never heard the name. I had heard the band Blink 182, which he mentioned in the message that he left for me, but I didn't know his name. So I called him back and we started talking about UFOs. And it was clear he was bright, he was well read on the topic, he had an inquisitive mind, asking good questions, wanted to learn more. In that first conversation, we were on the phone about 90 minutes, and then we continued it. We had several phone calls after that, and I went down to meet him. He had a business that was going on at the time, a publication and a website called Strange Times, and he was likable and he was curious, and so we kind of hit it off.
And you had him on the radio.
I interviewed him on Coast to Coast. He was a great guest, generated a lot of audience response, brought new listeners to the program, and eventually thought, well, you know, he's really moving the ball down the field. He's very ambitious and trying to get some answers, and he started making contact with some high-level sources, and he was telling me about them. As he would make new contacts, he told me about them, so we decided to go down and put him on television.
And this was prior to the Stars Academy formed.
Yeah, so the interview we did is April of 2016. He had just established a business, To the Stars, Inc., which was a publishing outfit. It produced movies, T-shirts, and consumer products of that sort, and his recordings as well, and a couple of other pursuits. It was not To the Stars Academy, not quite yet. So we went down, took a tour of the business, and started talking to him about what he had learned about UFOs from various sources at the time that he was cultivating. To the Stars Academy was still a year and a half away. The decision to sort of roll the dice, personal, professional, it's risky. I mean, you could be rock star forever. I mean, Blink, Angels, you could do that forever, right?
I could. You know, the whole, building a band is just like building a business where over time, you hope that it's something that's kind of solidified and has the endurance to last for as long as you want it to last. You know, it's just like building a company in every single way. I mean, it is a company. And most people, that's like a life goal to do that. And it was my life goal. And I still love music as much as I've ever loved it. And I'm doing more music now, which is ironic, than I've ever done in my life. But it's not totally who I am, only who I am, Like I would go, even when you go on tour, for 1.5 hours of the day you play, what do you do for the other 23 hours? Well, I'm reading books and I'm researching things, or I'm getting excited about producing and directing, or I'm entertaining myself with somebody else's creative vision, and it's really inspiring. I mean, when you look at a film, it is like you're talking. Sometimes this big movie is $100 million piece of art that has soundtracks and has live action acting and sound design and really interesting experimental editing and visual effects and motion graphics and title sequence. I mean, you need like hundreds of people to do something like that. And very ambitious to me, and it was different and challenging. So I just like a lot more of the music.
I guess what I'm getting at is, I mean, you were successful. You had not only one band, but two. You could have stayed with Blink. You could do 2 or 3 concerts a year and live comfortably the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And sell records, and a lot of people, musicians, they would die for it.
Yeah, I'm not, what's the word? I wouldn't say that I take it for granted at all. I'm not unthankful. In many ways, I'm still a major part of my life, but I'm not happy unless I'm challenging myself to do something that I probably should never try. The best works of art are when an artist really takes a risk to do something, and the biggest risk for me is to jump in and try to get people to really give me a shot at, give me their time, because, I look at the fans, or I look at people out there that would interact with the artwork that I create, and I think the big challenge there is like, can I put my name on a novel or a film, something that they never thought I was capable of, and they can grab it and go, wow, that ain't half bad, And that's a big challenge for me.
What I wanted to convey is you were successful, you had a lot going, you could have continued on that road. You had other businesses in addition to making music that were successful, but you've really rolled the dice. I mean, this is a big gamble for you.
Yeah, to the stars, this entire operation is a big gamble. It's kind of like, we've never published books before, we never made films before. We're guessing on a lot of it with our first year, and it's a difficult industry. It's just as difficult as music. There's no, the people buy books in a very similar way to how people buy music, where it's always kind of a roll of the dice, and you don't know if they're going to buy a digital version or a physical version. You're not totally sure what group is going to buy it. You're not totally sure what group will come back the second time. Music's the same way. You don't know if people, CDs are now out, but people are buying digital, but are they buying singles instead of the whole album, or is your audience going to grow up with you? And it's very similar.